Hey everybody, Miss Olivia here. This is my first training video type thing. This is me drawing. It's a sped up version of me drawing here, and this is what my voice sounds like. So I guess I'll just kind of walk you through what I do. I do a sketch first. It's really messy. It's always really messy. I never really do a perfect line art before I start painting. I usually just make a big blobby sketch and sort of suggest what I want to do. Like here I'm trying to kind of figure out how I want this person posed, how I want this girl posed. After I'm done with the sketch, I always turn the opacity down on that layer, and then in another layer with a smaller brush, I start drawing the actual drawing over the top of it, and I use that via layer copy thing often with things like eyes or other things that I want to be perfectly symmetrical. And then I start drawing the face and putting everything kind of where I want it to be. Start kind of suggesting that I might want to put eyelashes. I don't really put eyelashes on the paintings, the women in the paintings that I paint. I usually use a brush or something for that, but I think I want to paint eyelashes this time. This is me making a horn. I guess she has horns, so I'm making the horns for her and copying it, flipping it, because I want that to be symmetrical. I want that to look nice, so it's not like one cool horn and another horn that's all lopsided, that sort of thing. Bringing the sketch down, kind of changing up the chest a little bit. Drawing the hair. Pale Sting wanted to know how I did the hair. This is the beginning of that. I just lines everywhere. It's how I do that. I just kind of sketch where I want it to be, the direction I want it to be flowing into, that sort of thing. Here I think I wanted something to be kind of draped around on her horns. Adding some atmosphere with a simple cloud brush. The cloud brush is probably the only brush that I use that isn't a Photoshop brush that's already, you know, like already comes with Photoshop. It's not one of the preset brushes. And I do use special brushes, but I use those at the very end. Like here I'm using a circle brush to kind of block in the skin tone and the horns and everything, and I won't be using any special brushes or anything like that, default brushes, until the very end. Just putting in some shadow and everything here. My paintings usually look sketchy and totally unfinished until the very end. Because I don't do a perfect line art beforehand, I never just block in colors and then remove the line art and start painting or whatever. I don't know, I guess I thought people did that, but I just kind of blend in my sketch with what I'm doing. Here I'm blocking in the hair and everything. I just make it one big mass before I add any kind of detail or anything to it. Yeah, just doing that and bring it down. Kind of want it to flow over the eye area a little bit. Here I am adding some white into the eyes. Doing the nose, I usually just put a big shadow there and then darken in the nostril area, put some shadowing underneath the nostrils, and then sort of carve it out of the face so it's away, and then add some highlights and stuff like that. darkening it a little more. The light is going down on her face, so the bottom lip is going to be darker than, or the top lip is going to be darker than the bottom, and then some of the darkness from the top lip blending into the edges of the bottom lip, and some highlights around the edges of the top and on the bottom there. Some shadowing underneath the bottom lip and some highlights for the chin. Using just a regular default blurry brush that if you have Photoshop, you'll have. And I'm just slowly getting rid of the sketchiness of the previous sketch there. Just kind of leaving it there and blending it into the rest of the painting. Adding some shadowing and everything around the eyes. I tend to do that. I tend to put dark circles or dark shadows underneath the eyes. I don't know why I do that. I just do, I guess. I usually come in and make one of the eyes right, make one of the eyes how I want it to look, and then I'll copy it again and put it over the other one, because I do want those to be relatively symmetrical, kind of get it where I want it, and then start adding the highlights and the details. I usually do separately so that there is some sort of variation, some sort of difference, but not too much if I'm doing a face that's straight on like that. Just carving away some more of the sketchiness, adding more skin tone, just laying skin on top of the rough version, that sort of thing. I guess I don't know if everybody else does that sort of thing, but this is just my workflow. It's just how I work. You don't have to do it this way, but this is just the way I'm comfortable painting. So, adding some more shadows, some highlights and some shadows there. One of the things that's kind of hard for me is when I do like a naked woman or nude woman is nipple placement. I believe I end up getting rid of these breasts here because I just couldn't find that place that, you know, I just didn't think it looked the way that I wanted it to, and I mostly wanted to focus on her face and her eyes in this painting too, so I thought that would probably pull away. See, I'm kind of shadowing here, more atmosphere. I always do, notice I did the face first. I always do the face first because if I don't, I lose my place. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I have to have, like, if it's going to be a person, I have to have that face. The person in the painting has to be real to me before I start adding anything else. Otherwise, I get lost. Adding more hair. Kind of covering up the chest area a little more. Just decided I wasn't going to do that. Adding some more highlights to the cheeks, the nose area. Deciding against nudity completely. This brush for the hair was just kind of a gravelly brush, like rocks or something, and so I just do a stroke with it, and it looks like hair to me, so that's what I use. I just come in and I do dark black over the shape to give it some texture, and then I take a soft gray and start doing some highlights, that sort of thing. Right here I'm doing the spacing thing with a circle brush. If you ever use a circle brush and you find that it's not smooth at all, it's kind of jaggedy, you probably need to mess with your spacing. So that's what I did just then. I moved it, you want to move it to like 10% or less, and it'll give you a nice smooth brush. So I'm using that brush that I did that with just to block in some shadows and some light on the horns there. I kind of hide all the atmospheric brushes or atmospheric layers that I have and merge all of the other painted layers together so I can come through and kind of clean everything up, get all those little artifacts out, and get the general outline, general shape of what I'm working with up to par, making it look a little better, cleaning up those little extra sketchy lines that I am not really going to be painting over, and revising the horns and everything. I kind of like this simple point a little bit better. And then I'll make a new layer, come through, and do some highlights with white. The same brush, you can see it's kind of just looks like little rocks, and with a swipe it looks like hair. So just doing that, kind of having the hair fall between and over and underneath the horns, that sort of thing. Adding some more highlights on the horns. Some little dots. Some more hair. Like I said, I wanted to have something hanging, draping from the horns. I do that a lot, so I just did this. Something really simple, not something that takes away from the focal point, which I would hope would be the face. This is just like a chain brush that I have. Doing things draped around on her horn, just really, really fragile little pieces. Here I'm getting into skin texturing. I just have a dot scatter brush that I use, and I just put, you know, that kind of thing all over where I can. I add little moles, things, try to break symmetry on a face that's relatively unbroken. I try to, you know, break the symmetry with moles and that kind of thing, and then I leave it because I will overlay a texture, and like this one here, and when I do that, that texture will pretty much take care of any other skin textures that should be added for me, you know, and try to leave that all up to there. Here I am trying to kind of cycle through everything, see what I want. I kind of like that blue. So you'll see it makes the skin look more like skin. There's more texture to it, more, you know, it's not just flat and perfect. I tend not to draw, if I draw a woman that's perfectly symmetrical, she usually has a lot of skin texture on her to make her, I don't like that poreless look, that kind of thing. And here I am, I go in and I add some highlights and everything to kind of make the painting look less flat. It still has that gritty look to it that I like. It's just kind of my style, I guess. It's something that I do like in my paintings, but I don't want it to look like a flat piece, so I add white highlights and everything to the eyes and to the cheeks and the nose and everything. Underneath the eyes there, and adding some eyelashes. Instead of using, I usually use like this little brush that'll give me some weird straight lashes that I like, but this girl, horns or not, she's not really as scary as the other women that I paint, so I wanted to give her soft eyelashes. And do some shadowing because the hair falls over the eyes there. And I'm searching my massive amount of brushes there. This is a flower brush that I really like using. I'm sure you've seen it in my other paintings. I just like the way the flowers kind of flow and how they turn directions and everything, and the flower itself is really interesting to me, so I like using that. And then a vine brush. I'm sure you also recognize this brush from some of my other paintings. It's another one of my favorites. And then some more clouds or smoke, however you want to call it. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed this. Yeah.